backyard Barbies to volunteer halls. You can hear that spirit in the weekend calls. Doesn't take gold.
We might just fade that out because we want to talk to the man who's on the other end of the telephone. His name is Zach Lewis, and Zach is the CEO of Give Where You Live. Hello, Zach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to join.
So you've got Neil here. Rob's the other voice you'll hear momentarily. Okay, hit us with it. Here's your 25 words or fewer. What's Give Where You Live?
Well, for those that don't know, Give Where You Live Foundation has been around 70 years. So we have a really simple mission in mind where we aim to create a fairer community here in Geelong. So we do a lot of work across the community to understand the needs in our community, to raise money, to invest that money in grassroots organisations that are delivering solutions, and to advocate on behalf of our community for a sort of fair and more equitable region.
And the tough part about your gig, Zach, is that over those 70 years, the need for you and attached organisations is growing rather than diminishing. So you've got to, I suppose, keep reinventing yourself and preparing for waves of need, and we're probably right on the cusp of one of them right now.
Yeah, that's right. I think you're spot on. You look at the journey at the moment, and cost of living is something that continually comes up in our line of work. I think we're all feeling it at the fuel station, at the Bowser, but certainly the impact on the cost of food and cost of living has been huge. And, you know, we did some research a little while ago and asked all our community grant partners who we support with grant funding and sort of asked, what's happening in your world? Are you seeing more and more communities seeking your services? And over 90% of them, you know, responded and reported that they're seeing more communities than ever coming to their doors seeking support, and particularly take food or, you know, access to healthy food. That's a lot of people that might never have actually needed that sort of support before in their lives. They might be working families, and they're having to sort of make choices between, you know, heating or eating, or filling up the car and putting food on the table. So I think it's a really challenging time in our community at the moment, Neil.
And good morning to Grant Funding, if you're listening, Grant. It's always good to have you as a listener. I think one of the things that, in my mind, sets you apart, and I might be completely wrong, but that's okay, put me right if you need to, that one of the things that Give Where You Live does is supports other groups who are doing specific things. So rather than being out there and doing the stuff yourself, you are supporting almost like a peak body for Geelong. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's one way of looking at it, absolutely. So we raise money. We've got great trusted relationships and a lot of local connections, as you know, across the Geelong region, and we use that to raise funding and distribute that funds to grassroots organisations. So an example for people listening might be the Geelong Food Share. So the Geelong Food Share are fantastic at you know, bringing in and distributing large quantities of food to a whole range of frontline organisations across the region. I think they support nearly 70 frontline organisations with food. So we partner with them. We provide them funding. We also have an initiative with them which we call Community Choice. So we fund the use of vouchers. So if someone goes into, say, the Salvation Army and needs some help with food, they could receive one of these vouchers, which is funded by us, and then go and take that $25 voucher to the Geelong Food Share and get nearly $230 worth of food. So we work in partnership, and we support those local grassroots organisations who are just making such a real and tangible difference in our community right now.
We're talking to Zach Lewis, CEO of Give Where You Live. Zach, you took over from a very high-profile Geelong identity in Bill Mithen, who had been in the job for some time before. So let's just wind back. Where did Zach Lewis come from?
Yeah, so I think I took over from Bill just going on 12 months ago. So I've been in this role 12 months. But going back, you know, I was never in this line of work. I think I actually studied marine biology at university. I was a scientist. My first job out of uni actually was at the Queenscliff Marine Discovery Centre, and I worked a lot with commercial fisheries and in research. So it's been a bit of a windy journey, and I think throughout the career, I've always loved working with community, loved that intersection where community come together to solve problems. And it's been amazing, actually, the first 12 months, you know, working in Geelong here at the foundation is, I think Geelong is very unique, and I can't remember another community like it, where people go above and beyond outside of their day job, outside of what they're doing, to be part of larger sort of initiatives to help our own community. So it's something that has struck me. It's an incredible strength of the region and of the people here in Geelong, that everyone wants to roll up the sleeves and get involved and help.
Yeah, and of course, as people well known, Zach, Rob's walked out, by the way. He's gone to host the next session, so I don't think he's lost interest. Of course, most people who have made any worthwhile contribution to life started life as a scientist.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it gives you a great sense of
haven't we? I mean, haven't they? Yes, I have a physics degree. Interestingly enough, people listen to this and go, nah, no way. So I guess one of the things that, and the reason I was going down the path of you support other groups rather than necessarily going out and doing all the work yourself, is that there'll be people sitting listening to this who say, look, I've got a little bit of spare cash because I've got whatever, and I'd like to support someone. But do I go and support Geelong Food Share, or do I go and support Geelong Mums, or now called Our Village, or do I go and support the Salvos? I guess the nice thing about supporting you guys is that you're almost a distribution centre in terms of that. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's right. And yep, you can. People can make their own choices. They could do either. I think one of the reasons why we think it's a great model is because there's some things that grassroots organisations aren't set up to do. So I'd say the value that we add is that we can look right across the region and have a bigger picture view on where the investment's needed most.
Yep.
How can we get these organisations collaborating? So many of the problems we face aren't isolated. They aren't, there's not one organisation that's going to solve them. Many of these problems, like food, or particularly in the region homelessness at the moment, won't be solved by one organisation or one program. It actually takes a collective effort, not only in the community, but for people to support that collective effort, for the larger organisations and government to support. And we can play a role in kind of bringing that sector together and investing the funds where it matters most.
Yeah, I think, and I was absolutely not denigrating the work that each of those groups does, but there'll be people out there who say, look, I've got $100 I want to donate to someone, rather than sort of going and choosing one, which you're more than welcome to do, and it's a very generous thing that you do.
Absolutely.
By going to Give Where You Live, you've got an opportunity. There's almost an overview that says, actually, you know what, this month we need more support over here rather than over there, or whatever it happens to be. So it's like a centralised clearinghouse. That's sort of simplifying it, but it can work in that way, I would have thought.
It does, yeah. And a really good example is homelessness. So homelessness is a real challenge in our region at the moment, and probably people experiencing homelessness and rough sleeping is, increased by nearly 50% over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. So what we do is we don't necessarily support the people on the ground, but what we do is we invest in sector research for the region to understand what are the problems that are driving, the underlying problems. We support crisis support and those small organisations like a Lazarus Community House or an Outpost or others to meet the needs of people as they're experiencing that homelessness. We advocate to government and others around funding and initiatives, and we also help bring the sector together to find new ways of doing things, to solve these problems. So that's sort of an example of where, by investing in the foundation, we can actually distribute that funds across the whole collective group.
Okay, well, Zach, thanks for joining us. We're running out of time. Rob's in the next studio now looking at me, very agitated that we better get things wound up. People can find out more and presumably donate via givewhereyoulive.com.au.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And again, I'd just like to say we've got such a generous community here in Geelong. We appreciate, we know the time is tough at the moment, but we appreciate any support people are able to give. So just donate through our website if you can.
Thanks, Zach. Zach Lewis from Give Where You Live. They are doing good stuff. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Neil.
All the best.